There we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello. Get up, get your body moving. You know how we do. First Sky Omaha Radio, y'all. A hearty good morning to you on this Wednesday morning. Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. Fresh edition. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. We want you to get up and get your body moving. The show is dedicated to you. Dedicated to nature's God. The chat chimers. Nature's God. The ghost listeners. Is dedicated to the seat getters. I don't know what to call them yet. Nature's God.
Getting them seats.
People getting in them seats.
Mobilizing.
The mobilizers. There you go.
Regulators, mount up.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you to everyone who is tuned in this morning. We already got some good mornings in the house.
Hey.
Got Judy Prensler giving us a good morning. Good morning. Wanda Lewis says good morning. Kimber Snipes says morning, y'all.
Hey.
Black Dynamite says good morning, y'all. Leah Margolis gives us a good morning. Brother Valentine gives us a good morning. Assalamu alaikum, family. I'm in the house.
Man, in the house indeed.
Brother Muhammad, alaikum salam. Pops gives us a good morning. First Sky crew and fam.
Hey.
Good morning, y'all. Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. And we just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Want to thank the 630 crew over there on the radio channel as well. If you just want to listen, you can always go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the listen button, and check out the show, and then check out some a celebration of black music afterwards.
Hey.
All day, every day, 24/7. So that's what it is.
Celebration.
It's a celebration. Got Brother Kasim in the house. Assalamu alaikum.
Hey. Alaikum salam, brother. Definitely was bigging up, what you and the crew is doing over there at the BAA.
That's what's up.
Yeah, definitely got to get y'all over to have some conversations about, what you got going on, doing some good work in the community. Not just, the youth flag football league, doing something for the youngsters, but also, mobilizing. I think it's like the second or third candidate they've been behind. So yeah.
That's what's up, man. Love to hear that. The mobilizers.
Man, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Getting it done. Getting active.
Hey, we got a hey from Von Chapman. What's going on? Hey. What's happening?
Top of the morning, brother. Top of the morning.
We got Precious McKesson in the house, man. Good morning, First Sky fam. Good to see you.
With P.
That's right. Good to see you last night on that Democratic live stream there. That was good to hear your voice again. So really, really appreciate that. And we got a good morning from Mark Manor as well. Good morning. I made the mistake of commenting on a KFAB post, and I need all you to balance me out this morning.
Oh man.
Uh-oh. I want to hear about this. What was the comment you made?
What was the post?
Oh man. Well, welcome to First Sky Omaha Radio. That is not KFAB.
No. But wouldn't it be interesting if all the chat timers we just like did a mass migration to like a Channel 7 KFAB comment section? It's just all the Facebook or the First Sky fam.
Just flash mobbed them.
Yeah, just flash mobbed them.
Yeah.
Pull like the Trump. Remember what the teens did to Trump in Tulsa?
There you go. Yeah, we might have to do that one day. See what's going on that front.
It'd be interesting.
More mobilization. Very interesting. Mary Sanchez says, "Look at here. What's going on? You're not on YouTube yet. What's happening over there?" President McKesson says, "May we would shut them down. We may shut them down. They might not like that. They might. Yeah, who knows what they would do? They'd be trying to block all that for sure. So they'd be on fire." Brother Manor says they were asking what was causing young people to leave Nebraska. I bet you lit in on that one.
Yeah. The brain drain is real, man. Shout out to the
Yeah.
reader. They've actually done several articles, full-blown articles on what's causing a young, talented people to leave.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it, and I think here at First Sky Omaha, we encourage them to leave. As a matter of
Yeah,
fact,
man. Yeah,
we don't,
man.
we don't believe in that mess. Go somewhere else, see something else,
Get out of here.
and come back later. That's cool, but you get stifled in certain arenas if you stay here for sure.
You do, man. You just get stuck in the minutia.
Yep, for sure, man. Tamika Johnson says the YouTubers are here. Good morning. Thank you very much. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are on YouTube now. If you're sick of Facebook, you can go to YouTube. You can also chat chime from over there.
Yeah.
And join the conversation. And if you're over there, go ahead and be subscribe to the page as well. And hit the bell. We can say that now. Subscribe to the page. Hit the bell. We're playing the YouTube game, so we got to have a certain amount of subscribers to get to the next level and whatever they got going on over there. So if you don't mind, go ahead and do that. Appreciate it. Yeah, we will shut them down. I think we ought to plan for something like that. Let's look at what guests KFAB got coming on and mob up.
That'll be interesting. Maybe if Ricketts won't come on here, maybe we can catch him on there with some questions.
There you go. Ricketts probably would come on here. He's been on he was on Mind and Soul with us before, so he may come if we asked him. We just haven't asked him.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, we see.
Precious says, I want my daughter to leave, and if she wants to come back, cool.
There you go. There you go. You got to go out, experience some things, see how other places are doing things differently, and try to bring back what works to the community.
Pop says,
bring some new ideas.
Or the old talented ones to not come.
Hey, I feel that.
We still working on it, Pops. We still working on getting you out here, but we're fighting it for some years.
Pops, don't forget about the old talented ones.
They don't want to brain drain either.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like after college, I had a couple of my dad's friends. Like, what you gonna do? Where you gonna go? Tell him, man, I don't know. I might end up back at Omaha. Like, oh man, don't stay. Just don't stay.
I find that's one way we differ from a lot of what people are talking about because, especially us as musicians and artists, there's no industry here for you to get to the next level with your craft. There's just not. So if you do anything like that, you need to go somewhere. You need to go to the epicenter of where all that's happening so your career can take off. And if you want to do something when years later come back here and bring it home, cool. But
yeah.
They just want people to stay here and work at Walmart, I think, is what's happening. I think they just want to just want to keep people here and work at Mutual of Omaha, and that's it.
Whatever call center they open up next.
Star Trek Rich is in the house. He says, I've been telling my son since he was 8 that there's no way he's staying here. He's 31 now and based in San Francisco.
Yeah,
there you go.
And if I'm not mistaken, I heard he's doing some things.
And he's even doing some things back here in Omaha. So
you know what I'm saying?
You bring it back. That's what's up, man.
See,
Brother Rome's Reviews, Leah and Tamika, good morning. He's talking to the YouTube fam over there. So thanks for jumping over there, brothers. Mayor Sanchez, appreciate you. Thanks for joining us, man. It's 7:08 already. We got if you haven't noticed, no Michelle Trussler today.
Oh yes.
But the good news is that it's because she's on an interview.
Wish her luck, y'all.
That's good news because that means she's gonna stay in town. So we can have her on more regularly. So good luck on the interview. Hope everything goes well on that. And we'll see you next week for a Michelle Trussler soapbox moment. But we do have a special guest coming in a little later on. Friend of First Sky Omaha, a genuine first-rate chat chimer, Brother Melvin Muhammad, who is running for a seat in the school board. And we will have him on as a guest and be able to talk to him extensively about some things. So you get to meet one of the fam today.
Man. Honestly, I don't think we'll have enough time to really ask all of the questions that I know both you and I would like to ask Brother Muhammad. Very, very interesting brother, and definitely looking forward to that conversation.
Yeah, we sat at 30th and Lake, the Scooters headquarters, and listened to the wisdom for hours on end with that brother. So
man,
yeah,
man.
deep.
Definitely looking forward to that. So get your questions ready as well, and of course we have other things to discuss today. But before we get into that, just real quick, how you doing, Paul? How's life treating you?
Not bad, not bad. Things are rolling. I don't know if people know this, but we all have jobs. We don't just do this. So I got a full-time job at the Benson Theater, and we are now getting to the point where we got shows happening. There's a show coming up this weekend, and
Nice.
and then the calendar's getting full, and we're hiring on staff and all that. So hectic times, man. You know, it's way more than a 40-hour week over there. So
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, though.
but yeah, it's exciting though. Very much so. Yep.
Man. So if you haven't been over to the Benson Theater, that's definitely part of the First Sky fam. So check them out, and hopefully maybe we could work on getting y'all some discounts to some events and stuff, man. We can get out there and patronize and support some of the shows and events that they have over at Benson Theater. So shout out to the whole Benson fam.
And we're gonna have some events over there. First Sky Omaha is gonna have some parties at the Benson Theater for you guys to come check out as well. And lots of good programming, man. We're in there. You talking about the diversity. This is going to be the most diverse theater in town on all kinds of levels.
Man.
So,
actually, speaking of that, just a heads up, I will be coming back to Omaha sometime within the next couple months. So, yeah, look out for that, y'all. Look out for that.
Party time.
Yeah, man. Speaking of looking out, Von Chapman's asking, who witnessed the city council meeting yesterday? Yeah, we'll be looking out for what they have up their sleeves, what they have planned. So yeah, we'll actually be talking about that here coming up, because there's a $260 million bond issue on the table. 260 million. You heard me right.
Million.
So, yeah, we'll definitely be diving into that. Also, big shout out to brother Justin Wayne, Senator Justin Wayne. Put some respect on his name, making moves, putting in the work, and not stopping. Again, we were talking about the $450 million ARPA ask that he's preparing. And now there's two other bills that he's working on that I would like to jump into. So yeah, the man's working. Working.
Trying to get it done.
Man. That's why we put some respect on his name around here. Also, we'll definitely have to talk about the Sandy Hook situation. Gun control is another thing that we talk about a lot here on the show. And with speaking of bills, there are some bills out there in the session right now that are threatening to actually make Nebraska a pretty wide open gun state.
As if it's not already.
Right. If Pistol Pete has his way. So we'll talk about all of that coming up. And of course, there's more to discuss. We're here for the next 2 hours. So as always, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds that you would like to discuss, feel free to chime into the chat. We tweeting, we tubing, we twitching, all of that. It's a fresh hump day edition of First Sky Omaha. Buddi3 Da Gawd, Paul B, Star Trek Rich, all of you. Let's go.
You know what day it is. Good morning. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. And this is Wednesday, the 16th of February, already moving through February pretty hard. Thanks for joining us, all the chat chimers. We got a good morning from Stacey Jean. Good morning, First Sky Omaha family and friends. Pop says, my dad moved us from Omaha to Cali when I was 10 years old for that very reason. And I know I would have never become a hit songwriter or lead singer of the Platters had I stayed in Omaha. Man, if you in the arts, you got to get out. That's all there is to it. Got a good morning from Hey Fam from Amy Hutflis. Good morning. Brother Black Dynamite says Mean Gene caught the COVIDs.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yep, she's isolated now, so it's all over the news this morning. Brother Rome's review says, please hit the like button if you're over there on YouTube. Really appreciate that. Lucia Rodriguez on YouTube gives us a good morning. Good morning. Christy Knorr. Christy Knorr says good morning. Appreciate that.
Hey.
Ariel's 402 says, did anybody watch the Music Soul Child versus Anthony Hamilton last night?
Man, I did
Really
not catch
relevant.
that.
Good question. Very good question. I didn't catch it either. And I saw somebody on Facebook saying Soul Child had him crying though. So I guess he was doing some mean singing on this.
Yeah. So there's actually a mentor or mentee of Music Soul Child that lives down here. It's pretty active. I've been to a couple of his shows, follow him on social media. He's been hyping this up pretty good. And yeah, I'm not surprised that Music Soul Child had him pouring out over there. I'm gonna have to definitely go back and check that out.
I'm gonna have to check it out too because I'm an Anthony Hamilton fan. Them cats
Really?
be singing. They be singing, bro.
The Hamiltons,
Anthony Hamilton, and I'm a Music Soul Child fan too. So you're gonna see some singing. You see that verses. I'm quite sure. I didn't catch it, but we'll see. What they need to do on there is go ahead and verse Joaquin Fox because Joaquin be singing.
Joaquin be singing.
Yeah. Alan Faison gives us a good morning. What's up, cousin? How you doing? Good morning, First Sky. Yep. Ariel's 402 says it was nice. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, with no fights on the stage this time and all
that. No drinks thrown, none of that. Might have to sit down with my wife and just kind of chill out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Both of them brothers be blowing. Anyway, I love Anthony Hamilton too, Josh Take. I'm glad you said that, man. That cat is underrated. He's a phenomenal voice. Yeah. And also, good morning all. Good morning to you too.
Yeah, Josh. Again, thank you for the video. Thank you for the love out there. Yeah.
We got to play Josh's drop for us too again.
Yeah, man. Side note though, again, quick heads up for those just joining, reminding you, no Michelle today.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, she has an interview, so definitely wish her luck. If you have her personal contact, reach out to her. Wish her luck, and hopefully she comes back with good news.
Yeah, she gets the job. That means she's staying in town.
Yeah, man. So again, welcome everyone who's just joining. It is 7:17. So let's go ahead and dive into today's topics. We got a couple of things to talk about.
Little mama say, hurry up with it.
Yeah, right. Get into it. Get it going.
You off the clock. She's producing back there.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. Actually, Brother Vaughn Chapman already asking about it. The city council meeting that went down yesterday, and there was a pretty big issue of $260 million general bond that was proposed, and the city council on Tuesday actually approved the proposal, and if approved by voters, the bonds will pay for projects in the city's 2022 to 2027 capital improvement plan. A majority of the bonds will go to construction, widening, and improvement of streets, bridges, expressways, and freeway segments, and for other transportation projects. So that could possibly go to a portion of the streetcars that we've seen announced here recently, and a few other projects that are underway. Also, another $15 million will go to facility improvements, including to police buildings, fire stations, library branches, park structures, and other city-owned facilities. And parks would also get $15 million. Sewers would get a $24 million allocation, and the fire department itself will get $6 million. With the city council's approval, the package will go before voters in a special city election on May 10th. City Council Pete Festerson noted last week that voters would not see a property tax increase if the bonds are improved. So that's a good point to make with this. Again, the city has dedicated levy for debt service.
Okay. All that sounds like infrastructure to me, though. Don't we already got infrastructure money coming?
Yeah.
So this money could be used in other ways, but they're using it for infrastructure right now. Is that what I'm getting?
That is what it's looking like. Okay. And of course, the largest portion of it is going to streets, bridges, expressways, and freeways.
Right. And so, yeah, we also got like this $1 trillion thing that Biden put together for us to be able to have some money for infrastructure too. So biggest thing I'm pulling out of this story is that it's going to be decided by the voters, thankfully.
Yes.
So
May 10th, y'all.
And that reminds me, yeah. I think you better get that early ballot out now. Get ready. I heard Precious McKesson talking about it last night on her live stream that this is the time. Let's not pass that up. So everybody who needs to go ahead and get registered, and so on, because it's coming up.
Yeah, and we'll verify with Brother Muhammad. But when we spoke to Brianna Full on Monday, she did mention that primary is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah,
is that the same? Is that May 10th? Is that the same primary?
I think it's May. I think it's May 10th. Is it May 10th or May 8th?
Let's verify.
Okay. Yeah, let's get it together. It's gonna sneak up on us real fast for sure. And there's still all kinds of efforts out there to suppress things, especially in our state as well. So we'll see. Wanda Lewis says if they get $24 million for the sewer separation project, then they can stop billing us for it monthly.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I better look a little closer at that bill. Precious says May 10th. Yeah.
Yep. May 2nd is the last day to request a ballot be mailed to you. So again, as Paul just mentioned.
Wait, what was that? What date was that?
May 2nd. May 2nd is the last day to request a ballot be mailed to you. So
For
again,
early voting.
Right. As you just mentioned, now is a good time to get up on that. Also, if you have not registered to vote, the deadline to register is April 22nd. So yeah, I mean, we got half of February left. March. Yeah. And then it's on.
I'm gonna start putting some of these things up. We gotta remind ourselves. I know I gotta remind myself anyway. So
give ourselves a running start, man.
Yeah. So and so now this is gonna be on the ballot, or how's this supposed to be voted?
This will be on the ballot. It says it goes to a special city election on May 10th.
Okay, so they're not really giving you a say in where it's going to go. They're saying these are the places that's going to go. Yes or no? Do you want it to go there or not? Basically,
right.
All right.
It doesn't necessarily say what will happen if voters don't approve this, which I'm kind of curious to find out.
It'll probably go to another jail or something.
They're definitely going to find something to do with the money.
Or a lake. I got a good morning from Brooke Rodriguez. What's happening? Good morning to you. Appreciate you getting up early with us. Right now, kind of discussing where another chunk of change is happening here. We got all these numbers floating around. 450 million. There was a big $1 trillion infrastructure thing that Biden did that trickled down to the states as well. And now, this money is from what is this from the COVID relief?
This $260 million?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Looks like this is tax money.
Oh, okay. This is just tax money that they're applying to the infrastructure then. Brother, like that, I said, Gene would gift a large portion to OPD. Yeah, that was something else when she did that. Anyway, hope you will. You don't want to wish COVID and bad stuff.
Yeah. No, get well soon, Gene. Get well
soon, Gene. Stay mean.
Oh man.
Ariel's 402 says for every $1 spent on incarceration, there should be $1 spent on prevention rehabilitation. Ain't that the truth?
Say two. I say for every $1 spent, there should be $2 spent on prevention and rehab.
There you go. I like that. So we'll put this article in Friends of First Sky so we can kind of look and see again where this money is supposed to be going. Again, it's going to be up to the voters to say whether or not they want it to go there or not.
May 10th.
I don't know what the alternative is. Yep.
Yeah. Also, though, before we move on beyond this city council meeting yesterday, because this is a different proposal from the 24th Street situation that we were talking about that Councilwoman Juanita Johnson was asking about, and I'm kind of curious to see if anyone was there. Again, I think Brother Von Chapman asked about the city council meeting earlier. Is there anything specific from the city council meeting that jumped out to you, Brother Chapman? Let us know, if there's anything specific from the meeting that you would like to discuss. But I am personally curious about how that situation with the 24th Street Improvement District, how that play out, because there was again a proposal to change some of the boundaries. I know you said there was some talk about the riverfront areas and things like that. I'm kind of curious to see how that played out.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this yesterday too, and I was at work missing this thing. I thought this is something that we might be able to do as the first Sky Omaha family.
Hmm.
Is kind of coordinate with that. Some of us are working during the week, can't make those kinds of meetings, but some of us have that day off. Maybe we can do something to try to work it out to assign people to go check out certain things and report back. I know when we get the documenters program over here, through the reader, that's going to help out a lot. But
Yeah, man.
there's still stuff. There's still people, within our group here that can also do it too. So if you are so inclined to check out to keep track of some of these city council meetings, if you are work, strange hour, swing shift, late night, or whatever, you have the days off that these things happen, let us know. Maybe we can try to coordinate something to get some report back on it.
Yeah. Uh,
Go ahead.
if I'm not mistaken, they are live streamed as well. So even if you can't physically make it down there, um,
I wonder if they save them. They save them. You can watch them later.
that is a good question.
I
Now
think
that is a good
so.
question.
I think so. I think I remember our brother Chapman or somebody in the chat that sent over one to check out. Somebody sent over, said this was a doozy of a meeting right here. So check this out.
Yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
look into that. If anyone knows, if anyone in the chat knows, definitely let us know.
Yep, for sure. Kimmer Snipes in the chat. Good morning. She says completely off topic, but Tommy Warren was in Lincoln Monday, as some of us testified in support of McKinney's bill LB 1256. Thanks for doing that, by the way, Ms. Snipes. He told the state senators that the process with the library was completely transparent. Yeah, that don't sound quite, don't ring true. Am I wrong about that? Completely
Nah, I mean
transparent situation with
we've
the
even
library.
had city council members. Remember, Pete Festerson said like this there was already decisions made. We've heard several people actually in different conversations at different times say, at different points that they've heard conversations about this property, the library downtown property being sold years before this was even a thing. I mean, I think somebody had mentioned that they remember hearing, Jean herself talk about the library being removed 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, we talked about that on Mind and Soul one time. We heard that rumor, and it was like she wanted the bums off the
Yeah.
the steps, is what her words. For those who don't know, Brother Warren works with Gene Stothard. I
Chief of
can't remember,
staff
chief of staff, right? So,
and former police chief.
former police chief, right? Those you don't know. She says, "I'm happy to work from City Hall. I like making them nervous."
Okay.
All right, we'll get back to that for sure. Hell no, you ain't wrong. Brother Chapman says, "What amazed me was the number of people who showed up with their hands out asking for money for their pet projects. No mention of jobs being created in the area with this money."
No.
That's what I'm saying, man. Lakes and widening of streets, beautification, all that kind of stuff. President McKesson says the city council meetings from yesterday hasn't been uploaded yet, but here's a link to see.
Okay. There you go.
Thank you very much for that. Putting that link in the chat. We'll definitely take a look at it and see what's going on. That's an idea too, man. It's just study this stuff when you get off of work, if you can
Man,
watch it again.
just to even be on top of, what's going on so we can call them out in the future.
Got to.
Keep the receipts, y'all. Keep the receipts.
Yeah, got to get the screenshots and do all the nine, do all the stuff.
Yeah, man.
She says, and the roads are still horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the infrastructure here, man.
Well, to that point, towards the end of this article, it says in 2020, actually, voters approved a 5-year, $200 million transportation bond issue, which was used to fund the city's first pavement maintenance program. Through that approval, voters also authorized a tax levy increase to pay for the bond debt. So, again, in 2020, there's a pavement maintenance program. I have to look at, if you remember, I think it was 2019 when we had that issue with the roads in the winter when Gene Stothard, like she contracted with some people that ordered the wrong material. They ordered like that volcanic ash stuff that kept crumbling.
Broke up by the next year.
Yeah, by the next day. What you mean? They kept trying to fill these potholes with this ash stuff and basically cut corners. And if I'm not mistaken, this $200 million transportation bond was a result of that. But
she got took by somebody on that one.
Yeah, I don't know if she got took or she was a part of the taking.
She thought she bought some asphalt, but she bought some asphalt. I said asphalt.
Man.
Right.
In the words of Precious, the roads are still horrible, man.
Horrible. Tamika Johnson says it's the poor timing of the so-called transparency that's the issue. It's definitely part of it. We got a good morning from Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado. Good morning, friends. How you doing, big bro? Kimmer Snipes says instead of sending someone to the meeting, maybe just have a group of people who consistently review the recordings. I like to do both. I'd like to have some bodies sitting up in there too, though.
Yeah, because if we just watching the recording, it's too late to be like, hey, hold up.
So wait
a minute.
Yeah, I'd like to apply that physical pressure on as well. Sitting there in those meetings, like act right, talk right, y'all. Ariel's 402 says I made a video of the potholes with action figures off the 144th and Millard Ave. I want to see that.
Oh man.
We got Brianna Full in the house. Good morning with some sunshine. How you doing? Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, let the sunshine in.
Yep. It is 7:31 right now. If you believe in the concept of time and you're keeping track of it, once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. And we can't do this without all of you. So thank you very much for everybody chiming in the chat this morning. It's a very good conversation that we got going on here on this Wednesday, February the 16th, 2022. Once again, if you're looking for Michelle Trotsclair, she is not here today. She's on a job interview this morning, which is good news for us because if she gets the job, she's staying in town and we can have her on even more. So wish her luck. And we do have Brother Muhammad coming up, though. Friend of First Sky Omaha, Melvin Muhammad, running for a seat, man. These are the people that are getting up and doing some things right now. So can't wait to talk to him in just about 15 minutes. Stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back and jump back into the conversation. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. Stay tuned, y'all. Yo, what up? First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. What's going on, Zane? How you doing, my man? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing good this morning.
Hey.
And I hope you have a good day. Hope all of you have a good day. Appreciate you tuning back in. Thank you very much for doing so. Lots going on in the chat right now. Vaughn Chapman says Sarah Johnson's frustration with the city council meetings could be contagious.
Man.
I was talking to Star Trek Rich about that this morning, and I'm thinking we need to go ahead and have Sarah Johnson on. She's been on the show before, friend of the First Sky Omaha fam. So
yeah, man.
We should ask her what's going on with her. Get it straight from the horse's mouth on that one.
Man, if not, if anything, just check on her mental health, man.
Man, check on in. Anybody? Yeah, that was quite a statement that we talked about on Monday.
Yes.
For those of you that missed it, Sarah Johnson, who's been adamant about going to these city council meetings and being a part of things, decided she had to step back on all of it.
I mean, how do you go from running for city council, trying to be a part of it, not winning, and then still taking it upon yourself to still go to every city council meeting and still have a voice and be a part of it, and that's still not being enough, and that's still leading to burnout, man. So imagine how she won.
True that. I think that when you are set on trying to go in and affect some change, and then you just keep getting hit over the head with nothing's going to change, what's how do you survive that?
Yeah,
We
man.
talk about this with some of the older, some of our elders that when you're young, you don't really understand why they have pulled back so far. But 6-7 decades of not much movement might do that to you. Might lose a little bit of your fire. So I go both ways a little bit. I wish he would have kept the fight because her voice is going to be missed. She's an important factor in the scene. But at the same time, I can understand how you need to take care of your mental
Man,
health as well.
sometimes you just gotta step back.
So we'll definitely talk to her. We got a good morning from Miss Erica Felt. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on in. Brother Valentine says Nebraska Legislature Study Group is a good resource to follow legislative topics of discussion. I just
Yeah, I'm looking into that.
got hip to that in the last couple of days for sure. So, we'll put some information up on that as well. Tamika Johnson says, I receive the city council agendas each week, and it's like reading a foreign language.
Man,
That's rough. Brooke says, oh, I remember recording the chorus at this Gerald's house. Yeah. Thank you, Tamika Johnson. She likes the beat. That's one of mine from, what was it, 98? It's way back.
okay,
It's old.
okay.
When Busta Rhymes was doing his real fast stuff. Von Chapman says, what I wanted to hear is how that money could use to buy all the property in the land bank so that the stakeholders had some control. That was the best idea I think we came out with from the Friends of Sky Omaha on that. Somebody needs to take some of these funds coming in, maybe that $450 million, and buy up all the property in the land bank so that it'll quit going to developers, number one, so that we can take control of some of that stuff. Like you said, stakeholders have some control. That might be a good idea. Kimber Snipes says people don't like her to win. Way too authentic. People don't like real. Talking about Sarah Johnson.
Man,
it's rough. So they will damn sure pretend like they do, though. Yep. She says, I serve on a board with Sarah, and it's sad to lose hope in those who represent you. I put myself in her shoes. Yeah, that's rough, man. If you have a nonprofit, you could become a member of the Nebraska Civic Engagement Table and participate in our weekly legislative advocacy calls as well.
okay.
So the table's keeping track of things too. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, you've been bringing up the table and plugging the table a lot in the chat. We might need to figure out how we can work closely together.
Yeah,
more better organized.
That's a good idea. Maybe you can come on under that capacity and give us a rundown of what the table's doing and so on and so forth. And figure that out.
Yeah,
figure out the partnership. Brother Alvarado in the house says, I dream of never being called resilient again in my life. I'm exhausted by strength. I want support. I want softness. I want ease. I want to be among kin, not patted on the back for how well I take a hit or how many.
Yeah, man.
Black filmmaker Zandashish Brown. Pronunciation so bad. I remember that statement, man. I thought that was cold. That was a sentiment that a lot of people was like, I'm tired of giving, being the strong one. Like, give me a break. Makes sense. Brother Ariel's 402 says, start with the cheapest property, then the next cheapest, then the next. Okay.
Work your way up. I like that.
Black Dynamite says, hearing that reading the agenda is like reading a foreign language makes me wonder if most of the members understand it.
That's a good question. and also, it makes me wonder if that's on purpose.
Could very well be.
Yeah. And Kimra says that she manages member and partnership relations. So you the one we need to talk to.
Yeah, she's the exact one. Brother Omar's Valentine's asking a question. He says, how many North Omaha nonprofits are actively involved in the Nebraska civic engagement?
Okay. Yeah, we need to set that up. We need to set that up, have you on and answer some of those questions.
Yep. Appreciate that.
Yeah. But I did want to pivot a little bit. Actually, it's not even really a pivot. Ms. Kimmer, you mentioned legislative bills and legislative sessions. And that's one thing that we did want to talk about as we prepare for our next guest. And because, again, as we're talking about, we need civic engagement. We need people on all levels, not just those in office and places of in elected capacity, but we need, the civic engagement tables. We need the first Sky Omahas mobilizing, and the individuals out there to support what those in the elected capacity is doing. So one brother that we definitely would like to support in some of the work that he's doing is brother Senator Justin Wayne. Put some respect on his name and the work that he's doing. Most notably, the latest bill that he put forth in front of the legislature's Transportation and Telecommunications Committee just yesterday, talking about LB 916, which will create a process allowing first and second class cities as well as villages to provide municipal broadband services in the city or village. If the city or village is in an underserved or unserved area. And there's a lot of areas that could benefit from this, even as we experienced firsthand, trying to find a location with decent enough internet to be able to do this show. Man, it's hard to find decent internet, especially in low income areas. Actually, Paul, you brought up in the conversation that Carol Blood had in one of the community forums. She mentioned how there was a certain infrastructure that was already in place that just wasn't being used. So, for a bill like this, can really change the game for a lot of people, man.
Yeah, can you imagine that? There's already infrastructure for a lot of the fiber and light wire and everything else that you need for broadband, but they just don't put it there because it would be competition for Cox.
Man.
So one thing I was thinking about when we pulled this story was I feel like sometimes we take it for granted that people know what we're talking about when we talk about this broadband situation. There are individuals in the city that have strong enough internet to never lag on any website that they look at, for the 10 phones in the house to be running,
Man.
for them to run Netflix on several 3 or 4 or 5 TVs at 4K resolution
At the same time.
at the same time. So a lot of times because we live where we live, we forget. Sometimes it feel like we on dial up still.
Man.
I ain't seen a clean video until I moved to Benson. The videos are choppy. Everything's, a lot of times when we are fixing our infrastructure here, we're trying to go broadcast out as strong as we can. But if it gets to your house and you live in one of these neighborhoods that don't have good broadband, it's still going to be choppy for you, no matter how much money we put into our end.
Man, not to mention the prices are always fluctuating. A man about town says Cox is doo-doo. Cox is one of the worst ones in fluctuating their prices.
Cox is so bad, it's ridiculous, man. I'm on the phone every day. If you can imagine, I'm at the Benson Theater having to be on the phone with Cox hours every day, trying to get a decent signal for the facility. They don't even treat business right. And, that's what I was gonna say. They had me call because of the 3 or 4 years I was calling for Malcolm X. I got relationships with Cox people, man, and they don't ever. They just can't get right. They can't get right. Straight up. So you got brothers like William King that just last year helped get some high speed broadband into some of the reservations, because we ain't just talking about the north side hood. We're talking about north side, south side, the res. We're talking about everywhere except Midtown, Benson. You know what I'm saying? Like, even Benson needs upgrades. It's really kind of incredible. Like, and for them to have laid all that light wire in the 90s and just didn't hook stuff up because like what somebody's trying to do is try to pass some legislation so that other broadband companies can come in here and use that wire and offer lower rates. Mm-hmm. But Cox is so powerful that they have stifled all that competition. I looked over at the chat and I'm like, man, they about to go in on Cox.
Yeah, I'm already seeing it. I'm just letting them roll in. Miss Snipes says there is an org in Omaha who tried to create a collective or orgs to invest in broadband in East Omaha, and our mayor was against it. They won't come out and say anything because, of course, they are scared of our mayor, but her lack of interest in East Omaha is sickening.
It's ridiculous. Miss Erica Feld, I just saw something. She says, at Culture House, I bought some art, but the artist had to trust me to pay after I got out of the neighborhood because neither of us could catch a signal to use Square.
Yeah, man. Like it's more than just streaming clear video and being able to binge watch your shows in 4K resolution. There's as we get more into the metaverse and more
Space.
into space and more into cryptocurrencies and things like that. These are whole industries. These are whole situations that people won't have access to. People won't have the ability to enjoy because of the infrastructure, because of the area that they live in, and that's not fair.
Not at all. Precious McKesson says, I pay $98 a month for Cox Internet and get a call every day saying it's down.
There you go.
Josh Takes is doing God's will there. Paul, dang. I mean, I'm saying, man, every day I got to be on the phone with these people telling me the same stuff.
Man, it's an ongoing situation. It's an ongoing situation, and hopefully, this could assist in that situation. Again, LB916, brother Wayne is again expecting to provide $40 million over the next 2 years to expand high-speed internet services. The proposals, which did not make it to the final package approved by the legislature, would have allowed cities and towns to enter in the broadband services market. So there's still work to be done with that, man. There's still a lot of people stuck in the past.
It's ridiculous, man. Ms. Erica Feld got a good point. It affects commerce and education. We just came off a pandemic where kids had to stay home and go to school,
man,
remotely. And you know what that means for our neighborhoods that got all this whack broadband, and not to mention it's all coming through the same pipeline. So if everybody gets on at the same time, it slows down even further. So can you imagine? You give us the stories of how your kids have had trouble with that, and then people are working from home on top of that. So I mean, for the infrastructure to be there and not be able to tap into it and have all these struggles is ridiculous. When other parts of town is flowing like you don't even got cable no more because they can just watch everything on broadband straight up.
Yeah. Also, while we're speaking of the work that brother Wayne is doing, shout out to Miss Snipes. She posted this on the Friends of page, so I definitely urge you to go check that out. Talking about LB 158, which is another bill that Senator Wayne is working on. That would eliminate the 2-year waiting period for ex-felons to be able to vote.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, I heard Precious McKesson talking about this last night on her live stream with the Democratic Party, and it was just a reminder that it's coming up. There's a lot of people out there that don't know that they have the right to vote after 2 years. She gave one example of a lady who didn't know, and she was like, "You mean I could have voted for Obama?"
Man,
and it was heartbroken that she didn't get a chance to do that because she thought that because she's a felon that she couldn't vote ever. But here the law is 2 years, and Justin Wayne and them trying to get that abolished.
Right. So big shout out to brother Senator Justin Wayne. Put some respect on his name. Again, LB 158 and also LB 916. 2 bills we should look out for. Maybe write some letters and try to get some support for the brother.
Most definitely. Also, pay attention to what Senator Carol Blood, put some respect on her name, is talking about as well, because she's up on this whole broadband issue. She's even talking about how the future of broadband, which is from satellite, from space, and how that infrastructure is going to affect us and everything else too. So this is the reason why she's running, because she's got progressive ideas. She's got ideas. She knows some things that she's been paying attention to some things that we're going to need in the future, that we need to be open to, that I feel like that our current administration, our current local government just would have a hard time grasping. So pay attention to that for sure.
Yeah, man.
Brother Black Dynamite in the chat says the pandemic raised a lot of questions like, why isn't the broadband up to date? Why are fuel prices so high? Why does it cost so much to fly somewhere? Greed is the word. Greed is the key word.
Yeah, man. It's all greed.
Yeah.
It's all greed.
Hot mess. 7:48 right now in Omaha, Nebraska. Looks like Brother Muhammad's running a little late. We'll take a quick break and see if we can track him down, and stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Once again, I need to give you space to sing that little hook.
That little jingle.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. As we speak, we see the brother coming in now. Let's go ahead and jump in and talk to him real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, brother Melvin Muhammad in the house
Hey.
on First Sky Omaha Radio. How you doing, bro? Can you hear us? Uh-oh. We can't hear you.
Are you muted? Make sure you're not on mute.
Okay, if there's a check the little settings thing out there and see if you can I think there's a that cog wheel, the settings cog wheel. If you hit that, it might give you an option to turn your mic on.
Can also press the letter S on your keyboard to make it pop up.
Oh, I didn't know that. Check you out. Oh, I guess it says that right when you hover over it, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Is there any way we can take a break and get this?
I don't know if we can do it behind the scenes. That's why I was going to say to go ahead and we'll take a break and see and give them a chance to do that. And we'll be right back. Yes, stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. Stay tuned, y'all. Brother Muhammad coming up. I'm hearing something. We heard a little crackle. Sound like you might have got it. Did you get it? Not quite. Okay, almost. Yeah. For those of you just joining us, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. We got brother Melvin Muhammad that's getting ready to come on and talk to us a little bit about his run.
There we go. There we go.
Did we get you?
Yeah, I heard something. Say something, brother.
Uh-oh. I think got a bad cord sliding out. No, not quite. Not hearing you.
Hey, Paul, try to turn him. You sound like you just turned it. Is he on the same channel as the music?
No. No, he's not. I think your cord's messed up there, man. Wiggle that cord around again. We were getting a little progress there.
Actually, looks like he's frozen now.
Yeah, I think he's frozen now. Yep.
See
Internet
y'all.
down.
See y'all. That broadband, y'all.
We were just talking about it.
That broadband.
We was just talking about it. Okay, we'll bring brother Muhammad back in a minute and see if he can get that going there. Yeah, and I'm gonna text him kind of off site here to see if I can help him out. It's a tough situation when your broadband is not where it needs to be. Okay, it looks like he's back. You might need
Mr. Felt that North Omaha Cox.
Cox, man, I'm telling you. Brother, we almost heard you. We heard you for a second, so I think something's going on with the wire there. Try to plug your microphone wire back in, or take it in, and take it out if you can hear us. Josh Tate said the devil knows. Josh Tate says Cox is the devil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they'll throttle you.
And CenturyLink ain't much better. Okay. Well, brother, yeah, I like I said, we heard you for a second, so it makes me think that You can't hear us either. Okay.
Yeah, it has to be
Okay.
something with the settings.
Yeah, yeah, it has to be something with your settings there. So here, let me type in the chat here real quick.
Yeah, apologize about this, y'all. As you can see, we are live.
All right. Well, I don't know. Let me see if I can. Okay, I tell you what. He's still not hearing us. I'm thinking he was hearing us. He's not hearing
This
us
whole
either.
time.
Whole time. Yep. I'll tell you what. Why don't you go ahead and jump into something, and I'm gonna jump offline and give him a call and see if we can catch him.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we can go ahead and tee up the next story.
Yep.
Because yeah, it's man, we got to we got to work these technical difficulties out. Because looking forward to speaking to Brother Melvin Muhammad. Again, running for school board district 2, and we were just talking about LB 158 with Brother Wayne and what he's working on, which is one side of the preschool to prison pipeline. Again, the preschool to prison pipeline is a real thing. It's alive and well, and hopefully we can get some people in school board that can get in ahead of this thing, so we won't need again bills like LB 158. But again, there's a lot to discuss and a lot of questions that I have about our school board and how Brother Muhammad happens to want to address some of these things. And one of the main things is not just the preschool to prison pipeline, but also school shootings. And this latest update in the Sandy Hook saga is just another reminder of that issue. This being reported by NPR. Apparently, families of the Sandy Hook tragedy really have finally reached some sort of settlement, some sort of justice, if you can call it that, with Remington, again, the company that is responsible for manufacturing the firearms, again, that were used in that tragedy. Actually, families of victims killed in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting have reached an agreement to the tune of $73 million in a lawsuit against the company that made, again, the murder weapon responsible for the 9 fatalities. And these families have shared a single goal from the very beginning, and that's to do whatever they could to help prevent the next Sandy Hook. It is hard to imagine an outcome that better accomplishes that goal, an attorney for the victims' families said in a statement on Tuesday. According to Koskoff law firm, Remington's 4 insurers have all agreed to pay the full amount of coverage available, which is a $73 million total. The gun maker also filed for bankruptcy in 2020, and its assets were sold off. Thousands of pages of internal Remington company documents can also now be made public, according to the law firm. And actually, Koskoff, the lawyer, says this victory should serve as a wake-up call not only to the gun industry, but also the insurance and banking companies that prop it up. This is actually a very interesting point in all of this. For the gun industry, it's time to stop recklessly marketing all guns to all people for all uses and instead ask how marketing can lower risk rather than court it. Or for the insurance and banking industries, it's time to recognize the financial cost of underwriting companies that elevate profit by escalating risk. Our hope is that this victory will be the first boulder in the avalanche that forces that change. Of course, attorneys for Remington did not immediately reply to a comment. However, President Joe Biden did recognize the quote unquote perseverance of 9 families who turned tragedy into action. Actually, in a statement, President Biden said they have demonstrated that state and city consumer protection laws, like Connecticut's Unfair Trade Practice Act, provided an opportunity to hold gun manufacturers and dealers accountable for wrongdoing, despite the persistence of the federal immunity shield for these companies. The president also urged state and local lawmakers, lawyers, and survivors of gun violence to quote unquote pursue efforts to replicate the success of the Sandy Hook families. So, could this lead to a change in gun culture in America? Not by tomorrow, but as we all know, as we always say, follow the money. If we're hitting companies where it hurts in their pockets, it's fair to say that could lead to some change in their behavior.
So I heard a little bit about this morning. Remington, as a company, has actually been bankrupt.
Yes, since 2020.
Yeah, not really not really affecting them so much. It's the insurance companies going to have to pay, the advertising agencies, and so on. So gun people or the gun manufacturers are saying, "Nah, we're not worried about this. It's not really going to hit us." But other people, gun people that are actively pursuing gun legislation, are saying this is a game changer. So, like you said, hit them in the pockets, but hitting who in the pockets exactly? We'll have to see. Maybe if advertisers start pulling out because they're getting hit, that'll make a difference.
No, I definitely think this the element of the insurers having to pay the $73 million is huge. It's huge because I mean, just the concept of it. When we talk about police and police reform, and I think Ariel's is talking about. He asked a question about defunding the police as well. Those officers, they have an insurance bond.
Yeah.
If you can't get insured, then you can't be in the line of duty. The insurance companies play a very, very interesting role in all of this, because how do these major corporations go sleep at night? How do they sleep at night knowing that they're getting over and knowing that they're, oppressing and swindling the people? They got insurance. Yep. They have insurance. If I get sued, and I think somebody brought up litigation earlier, said sue them. These people have insurance. These people are insured and know that if they get sued for what they're doing, that's just the cost of business.
And they also have the law on their side too, because there's laws that's been passed that makes it so you can't sue a gun company if you get killed by that particular gun. So that's not just insurance; that's also laws.
To that point, and which I also think is a big change with this story, because as you mentioned, with the situation in Minnesota, I forget the officer's name, but again, the fact that officer in the George Floyd situation was convicted, was convicted. I think that's similar to this, because to your point, it is sort of the same situation as officers as we've seen get off for qualified immunity and all of these terms for their jobs. Just like you said, these gun manufacturers have been getting off, but that's not the case. Even though Remington is bankrupt, they are still a party to the suit. They are still being sued.
Interesting. We'll definitely have to let's table this. We'll definitely pick this back up. I want to keep talking about this because I think you're right. This is a turning point of some sort, and I was under the impression that it was marketing, it was advertising, and then the insurers that had to pay this. So I definitely want to take a look at it a little bit more and see see what I think about the change, and also put it out there to you guys on the chat. Let us know what you think about this particular story, if this is going to change anything at all. Ms. Erica Fell's bringing a point about insurance. She says, if a child care provider can't get insurance, we can't be licensed. We fight getting dropped all the time for dumb stuff like driveways having a crack. Police officers should have to be insured and risk getting dropped when they harm people.
Yeah, they are insured. They are insured, but the issue of their insurance bonds usually isn't brought up.
Yeah.
The city would go bankrupt if who do you think is paying all these settlements? That's one thing we do see. When police kill somebody, they might not go to jail, but there's going to be a settlement coming from somewhere.
A civil suit or something.
Right. Who do you think pays for that?
Yeah. We'll come back to it at 8:03 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you have somewhere to be, we're now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. First Sky Omaha Radio, Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. And I think that we have Brother Muhammad on the line now. Let's test it out. Brother, can you
hear me?
Yes.
Yes, praises due. Thank you, sir.
All praises due. Allahu Akbar. Peace.
Allahu Akbar.
Yes. Welcome. For those who don't know, we are now finally on the line with Brother Muhammad, Melvin Muhammad, as you might see him in the chat. But this brother is running for school board, OPS School Board District 2. So welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you. Looking forward to this conversation. Before we get into the particulars, just how's life treating you? How you doing?
I'm good. I got up. Be honest with you, I was up at 4:00 this morning doing my routine. I had to get up and give thanks for being able to wake up. Put on a pot of coffee. Took care of my little bird. I call her name Tweety. So she's quiet right now. So she might start chirping if she sees something that I say or hears something that you say that she might like. If she's quiet, then she's just going to listen to us.
Okay. Nice. That's all right. You go for your walk this morning? You worked out?
No, it's on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I didn't want to miss this, and I didn't want to be walking around trying to talk and trying to concentrate on what our conversation would be. So I may do it later on this afternoon, but as it is right now, I'm good.
Man, well, we appreciate you for taking a break from your weekly walk to talk with us. It definitely is
no
an
worries.
honor.
I'm honored to be on your show.
I appreciate
this position.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the first time for us that we have a actual chat chime or somebody who jumped on and was liking what we were doing, coming on as a guest. So we really appreciate that, man, and appreciate you always chiming in the chat and just being the example for us out here that want to try to do things in a better way as well. You inspire me to go walk.
Well, I want for my brother the things that I want for myself. So if you want to walk, just hit me up and we go take care of it.
There you go.
Appreciate you, man. We got Miss Warner in the house. Thank you very much for joining us and tuning in. And we got Von Chapman that says, if taxpayers paying for lawsuits filed by the victims of police misconduct, still on the other subject there. So we'll definitely come back to that because we want to talk about a lot of that type of stuff. There's so many things that we want to talk to you about, Brother Muhammad.
Yes.
It's crazy. We need to go ahead and knock out the race that you're in right now, because I'm ready to already get deep with you about some other things. So,
man,
so why don't you tell us about your campaign?
I want to say to all of us and those that are listening, my goal is basically to have a conversation with the two ladies that are running, because I think that's phenomenal to have two African American Black women and a Black male running for the same seat. So I would love to be able to win. But I'm willing to say if I don't win, it doesn't stop what I'm going to try to do to help our children in public schools. And I'll be more than happy to help any candidate in that position that wins this race to help them as well. So it's not about me per se. It's always has been about the children. So that's my reason for running. It's the children. And then the children, as I say when I'm teaching my classes in karate, is very difficult but easy to repair the child. But then you have to send them back, unfortunately, to some homes that are dysfunctional. And so that cycle continues. So we want to not only work with the children, but we want to work with the parents. So if your child is in trouble, if your child is having difficulty in public schools, then that's something that we need to take care of individually, and then take care of it in the family settings. And there are mental health people available in my circle that'd be more than willing to do that for us.
Wow.
Yeah, taking a holistic approach. Again, not just the student, but the whole family, which, as I think Brianna Full said on Monday, is they really bring that whole thing to school with them. So
Yes.
definitely interested in that.
Well,
you kind of mentioned it, and I wanted to get into your mind state of it, because as you mentioned, you do already work with kids. You have karate classes that you teach. You actually, again, as Paul mentioned, we had a conversation with you where you laid out almost your whole program and plan that you're working on. So you're already doing work in the community. I'm kind of curious as to why you felt like you needed to do more.
I'm not doing enough. Okay. More means doing something, but if you look in the way we do things, our lives are scheduled around time, as Paul was saying. If you believe in the concept of time, then you get lost in your mind. So I'm doing this basically because I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm someone's uncle. Each one of us have to teach one, and the only way to do that is to stay active in your community. And it's easy to sit in the chair after Sunday's football game and say what the Bengals should have done and they didn't do, and that's why they're not the world champions in football. But we spend an inordinate amount of time sitting in front of our television watching sports rather than learning life as it presents itself and trying to get through the challenges of life. Life in and of itself is very difficult, and we spend time doing things other than mastering self. So I look at it as like this. As my teacher once told me, we want an educational system that will guide us through tomorrow, not an education system that's just working on today. I'm talking about education in the 21st century. That's important to me. It's important to me that our children learn about themselves. And you cannot learn anything comprehensively unless you know yourself. And we're not teaching self first, then others.
Heard that.
Man.
Very, very good qualities. Very good, direction to come from with this as well. So I really, really appreciate the fact that you want to step up there. I'm getting a text that just came in right now. This is actually breaking news. It's also about this seat. Apparently, Marquis Snow filed for this seat yesterday also. So now there's 4 of you running for this seat.
Good,
Mark Snow.
good.
Mark Snow.
Mark Snow. I'm sorry. What did I say, Marquis?
I look forward to that.
Mark Snow. Yes. So I'm glad that it feels good that we got some people in our community that are interested in really getting into this seat, making a difference with the kids. Everybody who's running seems to care very much about what's going to happen here, and has been concerned about what's going on for sure. And I want to jump into the chat real quick too. Natasha Brown is asking the question. I have a question. We have a very diverse population of students and all need to be protected. Will you support the LGBTQIA students of OPS?
I have no problem in protecting all the students. It's a matter of, we have to understand that the community we live in is no longer a Black community, although the Black population may be predominant, but you have to take care of the children in the community, and regardless of where they find themselves in the station of life, regardless of what their belief system is, they're still children and they have parents, and we must educate the children and help the parents learn from the education that the children are getting so that they're able to handle the children when they're not at school. So yes, I would protect every child in the Omaha public school system. That would be my job. That's my first responsibility, the children.
There you go. I really think it's important how you keep on mentioning give the family tools that they need to help the children when they're not in school too. Very, very big advocates for bringing the family in on this education journey for these kids as well. So that's great that you have that in mind. Vaughn Chapman asked the question: do you think that continued generational neglect in the community and household is a factor that has created PTSD in our children that is playing itself out in the current school violence?
The children are mimicking the society.
Yeah.
The society is violent. And violence is everywhere on the TV. There's violence in videos. So the children are learning family values or life skills from videos and from television and from their cell phones that gives them access to worldwide violence. So it's no wonder if the society is violent. If we talk violent, if we use inappropriate language, the children are going to mimic the things that we're doing. And we're a violent society. So it's only natural that the children in school, in every walk of life, now look to violence to settle the beef, to settle their differences. And that has to stop. We have to re-educate ourselves because the children are watching. And we say, well, do as I say, not what I do. Children do what they want to do, but they look at you and they mimic and do the things that their parental units are doing.
Yeah. Can you comment a little bit more on what is the approach here that you feel like these kids, some of these kids do have PTSD though from a lot of the generational neglect and things like that. They're mimicking what they're seeing around us, but they also have their own issues too. Is that something that you put clout in?
All of us have PTSD in one aspect or another. When I was working in a group home in Iowa, I saw two young men in the kitchen engaging in arguing over a skillet. One of them picked the skillet up and hit the other one in the head with it, only because it wasn't his skillet. So all of us have PTSD in one aspect or another. I
He
think that,
won the argument.
and well, one of them was on the floor, and I had to get on the floor and get his head up off the floor. And
Oh Lord.
you know, um, talking about it after it happened, at times I had issues with it because that looking at children abuse themselves in a group home environment is very difficult to come home and not relive that in your mind as you try to sleep. So all of us suffer from PTSD in one aspect or another. The children suffer because, as Mr. Chapman said, generationally. Well, if the parent suffers from PTSD and is not handled correctly and dealt with properly, then you're going to raise a child mimicking you, and they're going to pick up the same things. When a child is born, before it's born, everything in that womb is transmitted to that child. So if you have an abusive home in which you're giving birth to a child, that child hears everything that is taking place. And if you hit that woman, if you curse that woman, that child is absorbing all of that energy into the womb. And then they come out with our problems and they don't even know it. And we don't know it because we weren't paying attention to what we were saying and what we were doing.
Prenatal trauma going on with
Yes.
the kids from now.
Yep. Kind of remember we were having a conversation with Michelle last week, and she was talking about how the trauma of slavery has been passed down from generation to generation through the mitochondrial DNA, which is in every cell in our body.
Right.
So there definitely is a science to back up what Brother Muhammad is saying.
And see, we're not looking at the scientific information. What most, let me say this appropriately, what most physicians who handle mental disorders want to do is give you drugs and label your child. I had a young woman bring her 8-year-old son to the karate class and told me, Mr. Muhammad, they say he has ADHD. And I said, wow. So when the things that we were doing that day was working on forms, and I asked the child to do this form, and he'd only learned it for a month. He missed one step in that form, and that form had punches, blocks, kicks, and he did everything correct except one. It wasn't perfect, but he only missed one stage of the form that he had been taught. And I looked at that and I told his mother, I said, that's not ADHD. If you take a look at our children can learn rap, but then when they go to school, it's, Johnny, you have to do these things this way. And so we have to learn it like this. If the teachers would accelerate how they teach and make it more interesting to the students, then you wouldn't have this lag between education and reality. They learn more from the cell phone. They learn more from the TV, but they can't learn in front of someone that's going to teach them very slow and to teach them into a manner that it puts them to sleep. So they don't pay attention. And you have to get the child's attention before they can learn anything. You cannot teach a child or an adult anything in life unless they're willing to receive that teaching.
Yep.
And most times, the child who goes to school is not willing to listen to repetitive information that does not enrich their lives. The child wants to see, where am I in this school? Where am I in the lesson that you're teaching? And where am I going to be when I leave this school? And
That's
unfortunately,
relevant to them.
yes.
Yeah,
You take a picture of a group of children. The first thing who are they looking for in that picture? Themselves.
Which
So if you
is
don't see
interesting.
yourself in anything that you're teaching, why should you pay attention?
Right. And that's interesting that you mentioned that the important thing for you is these students knowing themselves and knowledge of self. I talk about it a lot. I mean, me going to a HBCU and kind of finding myself in that, you know what I mean? Finding where I belong in society through that experience, then inspired me to come back to Omaha and help build Mind and Soul, to help build First Sky Omaha, to help do some of the things that I've done in the community. Is all that knowledge of self. So I'm curious, and my question to you is, what does an education that gives knowledge of self look like to you? What would that look like?
Our children don't understand that they are mathematics.
Mm.
They don't understand that they are biology. They don't understand that they're chemistry. I asked a group of children that I was able to answer back in December this question. How many, let's see, what was it? How far is the sun from the earth? They couldn't tell me that. It's 93 million miles from the earth. I asked them, how fast does the earth spin as it travels around the sun every 365 and 1/4 day, tilting on its axis 4 times a year, causing winter, spring, summer, and fall? They couldn't answer that. And this is a very appropriate question for children to learn about the planet that they live on, learn about what's out there in space, because everything they're learning through cell phones, televisions, and whatnot are coming over the space. It's coming on airwaves. It's not wire anymore. We're wireless. I'm talking to you on a wireless device.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, not understanding the planet that we live on, we don't understand how we play a role in that. We say we come from the earth. Well, then you need to know about the earth. If you come from that earth, you should know everything about it. So I told them what the speed was, is 1,037 and a third miles per hour. And they just looked at me. How did you know that? Everything you need to know, my mother used to tell me, is written down in a book somewhere. All you have to do is discover the book and read it. But our children don't read. Why? Look at this. Is it read, R-E-D, or is it R-E-A-D? Is it read, R-E-A-D, or is it R-E-E-D? Is it love? If you turn love around, it's evolve. Is it him? Is it her? Is it I? I mean, all of these things that in the English language that confuses a child as they're growing up because they cannot separate what's real and what's not real. We need to teach reality to the children, and the reality is that they are everything that they're studying, but they're not being given knowledge about self. And self is the main thing that the children need to know. I told someone the other day, we say children or kids. And so I looked it up in the dictionary.
Mm. All right.
Animals. Kids are
All right.
animals. Okay. So if you're calling your child kid, my kid, then you say my animal. Why don't you just use the word? So they're not animals. Animals have kids. They're from goats and from sheep. We have children. Or we have a child, and multiple children or multiple child is a children. So it's language. Words matter, and we're using inappropriate words to describe self and others, and that has to stop. So my job as a board member, I was thinking is that we were coming on, I'm going to create an office for me in one middle school, and one high school. And each month I'll change my office and I'll go sit there and look and learn from the children and look and learn what's not taking place as far as education and make friendly suggestions. And then I'll go back to the board and say, this is what I've observed. This is what needs to change. And it has to change so that every child in public schools needs to be fulfilled with the dream that they can grow up and be anything that they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I don't think that's a reality for them.
I hear you. I want to ask you about some of those things, the suggestions that you're going to make, and a couple of questions about where you stand on some hot topic issues here coming up. But first, I want to jump into the chat real fast. Wanda, let's see. Kara Warner a little earlier was co-signing on what you were saying, buddy. Epigenetic. We carry PTSD in our DNA. Appreciate your comment. Thank you, Sister Warner, for coming on. Wanda Lewis in the house says, broken people raise broken children. We don't want to raise children that will have to recover from their childhood. That's the truth. Gwen Easter gave us a good morning earlier and came on and said, children are learning about violence from the community. The schools are sexualizing our children instead of focusing on academics. Very interesting
Okay.
comment.
Okay.
Um, Omar Valentine says, "Where am I in this lesson?"
Man.
Yeah, I applaud that too. That was something that hit hard too. When you mentioned that when you take a picture of a group of kids, the first thing a kid's gonna look at is for himself, and you can apply that to school. Like, how relevant is this lesson to me in my life? And that determines whether or not a child's going to listen. So that's very interesting to take that approach, because I feel like schools take the exact opposite approach to that. They don't want to teach self. They don't want to, they want to individualize children, and they kind of want to group them all together in mass and make them
Yeah.
faceless.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting. Miss Erica Phelps says, Gwen, she's asking the question, how is school sexualizing our children? So we have a Miss Erica Phelps who's asking the question about another question in the chat, a statement in the chat. Von Chapman says, relevance in education amongst people of color is needed. We need to look closer at the OPS curriculum.
Yeah, man.
Curriculum is definitely something I want to talk to you about in a second here, after I kind of go through some of this. Ty Williams is saying, my son's teacher in third grade said he sits and breaks pencils and other things while I'm teaching, but his grades were excellent. She said he yells out the answer, but the answer was right. She said he needs to learn to wait until I call him. I said, maybe your class is boring. Yes, wanting him tested for ADHD. That's
Yeah,
what we
man.
all get. Yep. Also, let's see. Let me move down here. Um, Sister Warner is on saying the education system tried to diagnose my son in kindergarten, told me only way to modify his behavior was to put him on medication. I now homeschool my child, who is now thriving in third grade.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Great comments. Really appreciate everybody that's doing that. If you got any more questions for Brother Muhammad, let him know. If you're
Yep.
just joining us, then we are on with Brother Melvin Muhammad, who is running for a seat at the
School board.
school board. Thank you, a school board seat, and he has some very very poignant things that he's saying about how children need to be taught. He's a father himself, and he mentors children and teaches children in karate. Is it
Mm-hmm.
karate or kung fu? It's karate, right?
Karate.
Karate.
Shaolin
And
Kempo.
okay,
Okay.
what age groups do you teach?
8 through adults.
8 through adult. There you
Okay.
go. So yeah, a lot of experience that we have here. Some of these hot button topics we're talking about have to do with how the education system is teaching sexual education.
Mm-hmm.
How a lot of that, I think that question about the LGBTQIA community was posed earlier because of how the our state government is trying to really kind of take all that stuff out of the books, not teach anybody about themselves, not show any examples of people that are like them, and so on and so forth. The sex education issue for education, where do you stand there?
I believe sex education should be taught at home. You have to understand the human skin is a sex organ. We get excited with the touch from as a male from a female, as a female from a male, and then we move into the other anatomy and those things. I mean, just the cellular touch is a sex organ. So when we start talking about sex education, we don't have to go to the low part of that anatomy. The sex education starts in the mind. If you understand what that is and what it's for, and when it should be used and not used just because I feel like it, but there's a consequence, there's a reason for it. And we have gotten away from the reason only because television, music, big cinema advertises sex, drugs, and videos. That's the thing that's educating our children. So to
Mm.
take on the responsibility of teaching sex education in school is a tremendous task. And I would not want any child offended or exploited because they think differently than others. The atmosphere or the country, the world that we live in is unique because it continues to separate people into these little pods. Okay, we black and white. Okay, we male, we female. With all of these little sections over here, all these little sections over here, and we never get a chance to see the humanity as they are, which is human.
Mm.
And we have labels that separate, and America always separates and accentuates the differences among its people. So they treat the people, those in high power, treat people that in less power than they are as their subjects. They treat us as if we're animals, and they thrive when we behave in that manner, as we saw sometime and all times on television and in videos that are displayed. We're not
Mm.
animals. We are children. We are parents. We are elders. And we have a contribution to make to the onward progress of all children. And we're failing to do that. And the reason we're failing to do that is because we ourselves don't take the time to learn what it is that the child is asked to learn.
Mm. So as far as the school system is concerned, as a board member, you would advocate for that for a limited education in classes for instead with teaching at home being the goal, teaching the families teaching their children at home being the goal. You would limit that in schools.
That's the parental right to teach their children, about themselves, how they got here, and that process. That's not for teachers to do.
Mm.
I don't think, I mean, you can give them an overview of it, but you're not, I don't want I didn't allow my children to be taught anything contrary to what my values were.
Mm.
We
Okay.
live in a promiscuous society. I didn't want my children growing up in a promiscuous environment, and by the time they got 18 and wanted to go further in education, it was limited because they did not know how to control, as Tina Turner said, the touch of your hand. It
Mm.
makes my pulse react. These children are human. You can't expect them to abstain from something that's pleasurable when they got hell at home and hell in their lives.
Mm.
And they feel that they're not loved. So they're looking for love in all the wrong places. We heard that song before. As I said, the children are mimicking the adults, and the adults, in some cases, are off the chain as well.
There you go. Josh Tague asks, "What if they aren't coming from a home that can properly educate them in sex ed?"
Well, unless the parent is a single child themselves, they have sisters and they have brothers. Everybody has to step up to the plate. Nobody gets away. If I'm unable to teach my child the anatomy about the feminine side, then my sister, my blood sister, should be able to do that. If not, there's a sister in the community that may be able to help a female child. There's a good brother in the community that should be able to help a male child. See, we abandon the children because we don't have time for them. We don't have children if you don't have time for them. Don't have children if you're not willing to take part in teaching them. We have them, and then we turn them over to the public school system, and we expect the public school system to be the cure-all. And then when they come home, and you're looking at your child saying, what the heck went on? Well, you abandoned me at school. You never come to the PTA. You never take an interest in what I'm doing. So, it makes me feel as you don't care. We have to care about the children.
I hear you.
Marvin Gaye said in 71, who's going to save the children? Well, I'm running to save the children.
I hear that. More power to you. One last question, Richard, brother Rich in the chat says there are many excellent teachers out there who are burned out or who feel that they are not being fully supported on many different levels by parents, the school board, or the city. How would you address them and their concerns?
Well, we as elders, we as parents who have an extra day off, these parents, these elders should be vetted by the public school system to fill in the gap. When there's a shortage, fill in the gap. When I was a parent, I worked at what they call the worst school in the district, one of the worst. Let me go that way. Blackburn. I
Mm.
loved the Blackburn. And as I recall, the two times that I had worked at Blackburn over a period of 2 years each, I don't think there were very many fights at all. because I took a personal approach to every child was my responsibility. And if we take that approach, then we'll stem some of the violence. But you have to use your family, your extended family, to help you raise your child. That's what they call the village. Well, the village is disintegrating because of the things that are going on in our society, going on in our community. We have to stop some of those things and curb some of that, but it can be done. But for us to just raise our hands and say, the heck with it, I'm not willing to do that. So I'm challenging every male, every female that has an extra day off during the week. Get yourself vetted through the OPS system and fill in the gaps. Help the teachers. I mean, I understand teaching. I worked with them, but you have to help them. They just can't do it alone, and they certainly can't parent your child.
Yep. Hear that? Like Brooke Rodriguez says. So he's really asking for the community to step up.
Takes a
Absolutely.
village. Takes a village.
Takes a village. We want to really appreciate you coming on. We're gonna have to have you on another time. There's so much to talk about with you. It's crazy. We're not even done talking about the school stuff with you, and we can't get to nothing else quite yet. So, we'll have to have you on again, brother. Really appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Brother, I'm honored to talk with you and the community. My door is open. You can speak with Miss Warner to find out how to access me and access me repeatedly so that I can get in front of you and teach. I'm a teacher.
Hear that? That's what it's all about. I love that. You've definitely been a teacher to us, and we really appreciate you. Pops
Yes,
in
yes.
Pops in the chat says, "Much love, Brother Muhammad, and may you have great success in this endeavor. You will be a boon to all students living in Omaha." Appreciate
Yeah,
you,
man.
Pop.
Pops, I told him, I called him Pops a couple times ago, and I said, I'm honored to be able to call you Pops. Um, I am. I mean, such wisdom comes from him, and, you know, uh, I'm at loss for words when I start talking about your father. So thank you,
Man,
sir. I
I
appreciate you.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you.
Beautiful things. Beautiful thing.
First Sky fam is definitely a family around here, so we
Oh
really,
yeah.
really appreciate it. Raina Harrison Williams says, yes, amen. Precious McKesson says, amen, amen, amen.
All right.
Precious also says, help the teachers. Miss Warner says, the community has a responsibility to provide support to the parents in the event they are unable, for sure. Wanda Lewis says, mental health professionals should be accessible within schools.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of mental health work to do there. And Sister Warner gives you a very good. Brother Muhammad Sherman Wells says, dads like me would love to be able to come into OPS and assist these teachers.
Yeah.
Let's suit up, boot up, get vetted up, and let's go.
Yeah,
love
somebody made a comment about a Mad Dads program that used to be in the schools back in the day.
Yeah,
I
but
guess
that.
I
they
understand
did
that,
away
but
with it.
we're not going to be mad dads. We're not going to be mad moms. We're just going to be brothers and sisters standing up for our children.
Man,
I hear
all
that.
right, all right. Can't
Remember, words matter. So if you go look up the word mad, come on now.
Yeah, we can be
Okay.
mad. We can be upset and angry.
And
Like
we
Claire
can't,
Huxtable said, we
yeah,
can't be dying. I'm not mad.
and we cannot continue to say our kids.
Mm.
They're our children.
There you
Yes.
go.
Okay?
There you
Word
go.
up.
Word up. Thank you very
Word
much,
up.
brother. We really appreciate you coming. And like I said, we definitely have you back very soon.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Thank you very
Yeah, man.
much.
Love
Oh,
it.
peace.
Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right. There you
All
go.
right. Yeah.
We finally had Brother Muhammad on, man. I'm excited. That's what's going
Even
on.
with the technical difficulties, definitely glad we were able to kind of smooth that out and get brother on to speak his piece.
Yeah, we had to work that out. We couldn't let that brother get away without coming on. So I'm glad we got it handled. That's what's up. Right on. Let's go to take a quick break. It's already 8:38 right now. If you
Man.
believe in the concept of time. Thank you everybody who has put so much into the chat here and has been talking about advocating here for the brother as well. Let's see here. Brother Margie Sturgeon got a comment. Says, pardon my delay. It took me a while to find this on the subject of broadband and internet speeds. Okay, we'll come back to that after we take a break. She's got some information on the broadband stuff. This is definitely going to be one of those evergreen things we're going to keep talking about here because everything is going to that. You can't have a job, you can't go to school, you can't do nothing without broadband. And of course, our neighborhoods are the last to get it, even though the infrastructure is there and it's ridiculous. So I will definitely jump back into that comment. But yeah, man, everybody who jumped on here, really, really appreciate it. Appreciate it. Gwen Easter says, yes, we need to stand up for the children. Heard that.
Man.
Brother Wells says, word up. Brother Wells,
Word
we need
up.
to talk to you about our brother out in Minneapolis, man. I want to get somebody on that knew the brother. And I remember me and you had a little conversation about that. So maybe we can, if we can talk to some family, if we can talk to some friends, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're feeling it. Thank you very much. Again, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Smell the coffee beans. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. This is season 3. Space is the place. Stay tuned, y'all. We'll be right back. Yo. First Sky Omaha Radio. Y'all having a good time? Feeling good?
Yeah, I see a couple people saying they enjoyed Brother Muhammad. Sherman Wells says best guest ever.
Aha, I love it.
Sister
I love
Cara
it.
says powerful segment.
Yep. Precious
y'all
McKesson says justice for Amir Locke.
Yeah, man. I actually looked it up after I saw that comment. Tomorrow will be his funeral. So
wow.
Man, rest in peace, young king. Rest in peace.
I don't know any of the players here in Omaha, but I have gotten word that he had very, very close ties to people in Omaha, had family in Omaha. We would love to talk to a family or friend that's close to the situation. Like I said, Brother Wells, I know that we talked about a little bit on behind the scenes there. So let us know. And I didn't get a chance to talk to Brother Muhammad about this either, but he has been there trying to advocate for these no-knock, these no-knock warrants, not advocate for the no-knock warrants, advocate to get them out of here and get some justice for Brother Locke. So yeah, anybody who is associated there that listens to the show, please let us know. We would love to talk to you and also be behind that, advocating for this abolition of the no-knock warrant and so on and so forth.
It didn't even really I read the stories, I read the articles, was aware of the situation when it happened, but it's really just now kind of dawning on me that this is happening in Minneapolis. Again, here we are. Again.
He wasn't even the subject of
yeah.
Like I said, we reported the news, but we hesitate to speak on it quite yet until we talk to some family or friends that are associated. So anybody out there that is, let us know. We would love to have you on and talk.
Somebody had mentioned that Hayes, brother, I think Terrence Hayes, they said is his cousin.
Oh, they're cousins?
Yeah. Somebody had you had even joked that means that y'all are cousins because you and Terrence are cousins or something like that. Somebody mentioned that in the chat.
I'm gonna have to holler at cuz and find out. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I know that he's been doing some activism for this as well. So I didn't realize this is family we were talking about here. So
yeah, somebody mentioned that they're cousins.
Wow. Okay, yeah, we definitely got to talk to some people about what's going on here. This is one of those things that's not going to get let go at all.
No.
Happening in Minneapolis again. This is, the first thought in my mind is how they got Fred Hampton. It's gonna come all in your house while you're in there asleep.
Yeah, I ain't make that connection, but
just gotta just no knock. Just come on in. Hot mess, man. Von Chapman said, Is it me, or is hunting and killing black folk in Minneapolis become commonplace? Kind of feels like that.
My brother Melvin Muhammad says Sherman Wells is. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Sherman ain't. Are you related? Wow. Okay, his mother grew up in Omaha, so I know there's some connections.
Definitely some connections. That's why I got wind of all that. I started hesitating on speaking on it a little bit. Let's let the family talk. Yeah, his family's here for sure. So rough, bro. That's a rough one. Like I said, Chauvin. We talked about this before. Chauvin got prosecuted for killing George Floyd. That doesn't mean that everybody all the cops are gonna start going to jail now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a one-off in a big way. Right after that, somebody got shot. They shot a brother getting out of his car. The lady thought she had the taser in her hand and shot the brother. That was in Minneapolis too.
Yeah.
She was the one that trained cops. And she pulled a gun on that brother and shot him down, and then said, "Oops, I thought I had the taser in my hand." And now here we are with Brother Locke. So definitely something going on in Minneapolis in a big way.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to shelve that and get some family members or somebody who can speak on that a little more on and actually have a conversation on that one. But speaking of family members, I actually wanted to talk about something that, if I'm not mistaken, is close to your family, Paul. Talking about this Great Plains Black History Museum building.
Very close. Couple doors down.
Man, for those who don't know, again, Paul B, you want to?
Yeah, Great Gramps owned the Allen Showcase back in the day. I believe the years were somewhere around 55 to 85 that he owned it. So that's Paul B. Allen Sr. with the Allen Showcase. And right there on the block, right next to there was two houses that separated them from the Black Plains History Museum. It was like a phone center at first back in the day.
It was called the Historic Webster Telephone Building, which is located right just a couple, as Paul said, a couple lots down from 24th and Lake Streets, right there on the Deuce, man. And this is something that I definitely wanted to talk about because actually somebody mentioned earlier when we were talking about the school system and curriculum, students not really knowing the Midwestern or the local heroes and the people in the community who have done good things, the likes of Miss Calloway, who was actually behind the museum. I'm actually drawing a blank of her name, but the woman who's behind the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and the work that she did.
Rowena Moore.
Yes, thank you, Miss Moore, and the work that she did.
Put some respect on her name.
Definitely have to put some respect on her name. So I'm kind of mad at myself for drawing that blank.
Oh man,
yeah. Miss Rowena Moore is another name that is not talked about enough in the community, and she was, raising hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars when I don't think women were even allowed to vote. So yeah, she's
doing things, big things,
big things. So again, a big shout out to Miss Terry Sanders, who is the publisher of the Omaha Star Archives and was actually a intern, if you will, at the Black History Plains Museum for years. As she says, I would go in as a high school, early college student to help Miss Calloway catalog things and kind of hang out. Calloway taught about the contributions of African Americans throughout the Midwest. At the time, she created one of the largest museums devoted to African American history in the region. Years later, Sanders became executive director of the museum, and when it closed doors in the late 90s, Ms. Sanders took the museum on the road. She says we would take exhibits out to corporations, to schools, to libraries. The building, however, continued to deteriorate, and now if you go down to the 24th and Lake Street area, you can see the building sort of dilapidated, breaking down, and really just covered in vines. Sanders however, hopes that the ribbon cutting in 2014 for the museum's temporary location at their old Crossroads mall would lead again to the museum itself living on. Today, the original site, it is in horrible condition, but a recent donation, if I'm not mistaken, does lead to hope for renovation. The museum has moved from Lake Street just around the corner to North 24th. Executive Director Eric Ewing said the board gifted the building to the Bertha Calloway Foundation. He says, I think it's still a chance for some type of restoration, and we're hoping through our donating the building to the Bertha Callaway Foundation, that they will be able to seek some grants to get money to restore the building. So that's definitely a hope that I echo, and something that is really a need in North Omaha, kind of going along with what we're talking about with Brother Melvin Muhammad, as far as seeing yourself in history, seeing yourself and seeing the work that has been done before you and where you play in that work. Can definitely go a long way, especially in North Omaha.
That's real. One of the things that I did traveling around the world was made sure that I hit every museum that I had read about or heard about before, and that's been kind of my thing for a while. And one of the things, you don't just go to museums to learn about the past, but where your place is in the future too. There are Black people in the future. There are Black people in space, and we will be in the future, and that's what that's all about. And having a home where you can kind of explore those things, that kind of condensed time, that way, the way that you experience time in a museum, where you can look at the past and look at the future in one look, is super important. Super important. So to have a restored historical building in North Omaha, hopefully the museum can get back there. But if not, maybe you can get into a nice new facility. Whatever needs to happen, we know that it's still here, it's still available, it still needs support, and it's over in the Jewel building right now. And like I said, Brother Ewing is the guy who's over there handling that. But it's still very relevant, very important, and I've even failed to see the newest exhibits. I just heard about some stuff in there. I was like, what? I didn't see that yet. I haven't been there in about a year or two. I guess it's before the pandemic is the last time I went. Yeah. But there's some new stuff in there that we need to go and check out and support. Most definitely.
Yeah. I was just gonna hop in the chat. I think you're about to do the same thing. A couple chats rolling in. Brother Von Chapman says, where TIF could best be used is the repair of that historical building. That's huge. That is man.
Somebody put the question out: How can you be a blighted area and prime real estate at the same time?
At the same time, come on, man, and yeah, we definitely need to see if we can get some TIF dollars on that. I would love to see that, since they just handing them out like hotcakes.
Right, they're just giving them away. Wanda Lewis says the building has to stay within the nonprofit status, as it was initially gifted to Bertha Callaway on behalf of the community. Okay, good information.
That makes sense. And speaking of that, Bertha Callaway's son is the director of the foundation, which bears his mother's name. And he also said that he is doing everything possible to save the building and listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So
that's dope, man. You got me. My mind is spinning about this because, like I said, hitting all these museums all around the world, the Louvre in Paris, all these places that I've been, there's some real work that can be done with the museum for Black folks in Omaha. With artists right now, I mean, there could be some serious exhibits going down,
and there's a lot of funding opportunities in that. And then also, I mean, that's the whole reason why we did Space is the Place, because in a time where we were just talking about Amir Locke, we were just talking about all the instances where we're being brutalized, we're being killed. There's efforts to get rid of us. There are efforts to get rid of our voice. There are efforts to take us out.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to stake our claim, to say we were here, and not only were we here, but we're going to be here in the future.
That's right. Space is the place, y'all.
Man,
a couple of good tips here, or things associated here. Ms. Warner says the Black Agenda Alliance offers an 8-week adult and youth Black studies course that covers some of those Omaha heroes you mentioned.
Beautiful. Yeah, we definitely need to get the BAA on here, man, and talk more about what y'all doing.
Yeah, for sure. Ms. Warner, come on in. Also, there was something else I was gonna say that was pretty important as well. I just thought my way out of that one. Yeah, I have to think about it later.
Just lost it.
Just lost it. Yep.
It happens. But we'll definitely kind of keep an eye on this situation to see how these efforts play out, and if we can, get some support for this, because this is definitely something the community needs.
You are always invited, Miss Warner. First of all,
Yes.
it just came back to me. Malcolm X Moore Foundation made an announcement about Joanna LaFleur being the first executive director over there for a paid position. But their second thing was that they are going to get some funding to be a museum for Malcolm X.
Yes.
So that's another thing. It's about museum life in 2022, as far as we're concerned. Let's try to do something about it. And this is something I'm like feeling pretty fired up about. Like I said, just from the stuff that I was able to see around the world, I'm like, we could do some big things here. The way that the Jocelyn is positioned in the city is it makes it a world class museum.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we can have some of the same kind of stuff happen and be the center of that here in Omaha as well. At least as big as how Chicago is done things with the Black History Museum. So yeah,
Man.
yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, we need, and it's just too much history that has come through Omaha. I mean, there's been Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. sightings. The work that brother Malcolm's father did, Reverend Little. There's a lot
Right.
of history, not to mention the whole Ed Poindexter. So there's a lot of history that can be discussed in that museum. And again, it's just a physical manifestation of what we're doing here, man. Space is the place. We're going to continue carving out our own spaces and staking our claim.
Right.
We're here.
Lon Chapman, that's a good question. Why is the city of Omaha not helping restore that building for inclusion in Forever Omaha?
All right.
It's a good question, especially when we talk a lot about what's going on at the Old Loves Jazz building, and the way that the city owns that and has teamed up with people like the Sherwood Foundation to be able to restore things and bring in new programs there. Yeah, they just let that sucker just sit there and get holes in the roof. They just let historical buildings fall by the wayside around here sometimes if it's not serving something. So yeah, that's a good question. How come the city is not? That'd be great.
All the while they spent 15 million on parks and fire stations
And they
and
want 600 million for a lake out west,
right.
so on and so forth. Gwen Easter says, my friends and I used to go to the Black Museum on a weekly basis, if not more. Ladies there didn't care how many times we came. If they did, they never acted upset, and they would give us a tour every time and let us ask many questions as we wanted to ask. That's what's up. That was our field trip together. I love that place. Which probably why the history and why I like history and documentaries. Yeah, I mean, it really is. It takes you to a different world, man. I think about it in the sense of time. Like you get to see history, present, past, present, and future all in one trip, all in one walk around a building, and it just puts you in a different place in a real way. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully, something will happen here with the with that library, and if not this one, maybe a brand shiny new one, like the Science Center is going to be down the waterfront. Like maybe we can put some effort behind that and try to really support it.
Man, that's an interesting thing. And I wanted to end the segment with actually a
Mm-hmm.
quote that I heard in college about history that always stuck with me from John Henry Clark, if that's all right. Uh, it says, history is not everything, but it is a starting point. History is a clock that tells people, or excuse me, history is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. It is a compass they use to find themselves on the map of human geography. It tells them where they are, but more importantly, what they must be.
Whoa, I like that.
Yeah, man, it's huge. It's huge.
That's
Again,
quite the quote.
it is quite the code. Definitely when talking about history. Again, it is up to us to learn and figure out what we must be. How are we gonna move into the future?
There you go. We only got about a couple minutes left here. We got a lot of haps to talk about, but we might have to save them for Friday. It looks like because we're kind of getting down to it.
Yeah,
I think that's what we'll do. Let's save it for Friday,
Haps,
so we don't run too late. Say again.
Fridays usually the Haps day anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
Yep.
but there is an event or something that I would like to talk about that if we wait to Friday, it'll be old. On the 16th, Millwork Conversation with Ashley Spivey. Big shout out to our partners over at The Reader
Yep.
for posting this one. But again, the Millwork Conversation, discussing some of the development and things going on in the not Blackstone, but the what's the name of that? They're calling it No though, but what's the name of that area?
North Omaha.
Thank you. Again, Wednesday, February 16th. That's today from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Conversation will be happening at the dock. That's 1229 Millwork Ave. Again, 1229 Millwork Ave. Millwork Conversations is a late afternoon chat series between Omaha creators, innovators, artists, thought leaders, and activators, providing an opportunity to learn from people across communities right here in Nebraska and across the country. So, again, talking about new ideas and what's possible, how to push past real and imagined boundaries. So yeah, let's definitely think outside of the box. Join this conversation if you're if you're able to do so, and if not, that's all right. It's all right.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'd be all right. But as Paul mentioned, we will have some other haps on Friday to look out for. But in the meantime, in between time, as usual, we have run out of time today on this here show. Big shout out to brother Melvin Muhammad for taking the time out of his busy schedule, even taking a break from his walk to speak with us. Yeah, man, health is wealth, and brother didn't even walk today. To take the time to speak with us. So we definitely appreciate him. As always, we appreciate all of you for chiming into the chat, letting your minds be free, asking the burning questions, and also giving us some information that we did not know about. I have to go back and look at that post from Margie again about the broadband.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Well, and we'll talk about it again on Friday too. Broadband is gonna be something we would continue to talk about for sure.
Oh yeah, it's needed, especially as we move into the metaverse, y'all.
Yep. Right on. All righty then. Well, you got some words for the people before we get out of here?
Man, well, as always, again, I thank and appreciate and love all of you for making the show what it is. Again, I'm seeing some comments. Great show. What a show. You guys crushed your show. Well, no, we crushed it, y'all. We crushed it. So we appreciate y'all. Nobody acting a fool in the chat. None of that. It's always a good time, man. So we appreciate y'all for joining the conversation, letting your mind be free and letting your voice be heard. That's what we're here for. That's the important part. So again, keep it up. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live from First Sky Omaha. With that, Paul B, take it away.
Right on. Miss Warner says this was a great segment. Brothers, keep up the amazing work. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Brother Faison says another great show. Thanks. Terry Him Peto says great show today. Thank you for making space. Have a great week. Rest of the week, everyone. Have a great rest of the week, everyone. It's hard to say. Pop says, what a show. It just keeps getting better. Thank you, squad. And thank you, First Sky fam. Can't wait to experience the Friday morning show. Appreciate it. Leah Margolis says, you guys crushed your show again. Thanks for all your work. Really appreciate that. Ms. Erica Phil says, I love this episode, truly giving a voice to those who must be heard, ideas on how to be involved and learning about our community. Thank you. Keep your space, drink water, and be good to yourself, everyone. Very much appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And Katie L in the house says, we appreciate you all too. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being for jumping on the show. Brooke says, great show. Love Brother Muhammad. Yeah, Brother Muhammad's the dude for sure.
Yeah, man. We ain't even really get into. There's so much more to talk to that brother about. We will definitely be having him back on at a later show. But we do have some guests scheduled for Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
I do. Do you know who they are? Is the question.
Not off the top of my head. I know we have our partners from Flatwater. No, the Reader.
The Reader is coming, but I do think we have a guest on Friday as well. See, now I'm gonna have to go. Let's see. I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
We'll post it on Friends of First Sky.
We'll have a partner from the Reader.
Yeah. Next time you look it up before you start.
Yeah.
Jive turkey.
My bad.
I want to give thanks to the Umaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Give thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them, and give thanks to everyone who chimed into the chat. All you chat chimers, we would not be doing this show without you. You are a part of this. So we appreciate everybody. Want to give a shout out to Star Trek Rich holding it down here at Weberize Studios. If you got podcast ideas, go to weberize.com. Rich and Margie are the best. So thank you so much for allowing us to broadcast here in your beautiful studio. Shout out to Buddy and his family for allowing us to be in the living room in Atlanta, Georgia.
Squad.
And, more squad. Love it. And of course, shout out to Brother Muhammad that came on and gave us his time this morning. Really, really appreciate that.
Yes.
We will see you Friday when we'll be talking to, I believe, somebody new from the Reader that you haven't met yet. So, stay tuned for that. Still talking about the Disinvested series that's going on at the Reader. If you haven't gotten that, the copy of that, go get that and check that out. Some series of articles that are very, very powerful, and pretty much came about because a lot of what we talk about here has trickled over to those articles as well. So definitely go check those out. And we will see you Friday. We will send our love to Michelle. Sorry that we missed her today, but it's good news. She's on an interview. Hopefully she gets the job. She'll stay in town and we'll get to see her more. So
yeah, man.
There you go. In the meantime, between time, you guys have a good couple of days. We'll see you Friday. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the Red